on infertility and its effects. Lots of questions, comments, and your feedback came through our social media platforms and, of course, to that WhatsApp line. And that is exactly what we are on about today. So much so that we had to invite the very same guest who was here last week. One controversial Daktari, I must add to that. He goes by the name of Dr. Ignatius Kibe, a gynecologist from St. Mary's Hospital. Daktari, welcome back.
Anytime. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. You're here to light our screens up today.
Anytime.
So last week, you can imagine the feedback was just overwhelming.
It means that people have problems.
Right, yeah. I don't know if on your end you also got the same feedback on your personal lines and also on perhaps your social media platforms if you have any.
Yes, we have. Although we are so very busy, it becomes very difficult for us to keep up. I wish to mention, because you brought it up, that those of you who want me to talk to you on phone, it can be very, very difficult because sometimes I have a client in front of me.
Right.
Sometimes I'm dispensing something. So please, as much as possible, use SMSs or the other social media platforms. But trying to telephone a doctor is like trying to telephone a priest when he's doing a mass.
Okay. All right, we get it. So today, and just much as like we did last week, we are going to just be throwing to you questions that a lot of our audiences sent to us.
Yes.
And even as, they prepare those questions from our gallery, I don't know if you saw how you managed to trend last week over
yes, I did.
that you gave on how to actually get a boy or a girl.
Yes, I said that I saw the trends.
Yes.
And I wish to mention that I stand by my mentioning that the X and Y chromosomes sperm act and behave differently.
Yeah.
So arising from that and knowing their structures, their anatomy, physiology, and mechanism of action and speed and their sizes, we are able to help somebody to get either a boy or a girl.
Yes.
And what I said about the girl, what I said about the boy is almost opposite of what somebody should do to get a girl. Yes.
Okay, all right. So that did trend quite a bit. I'm telling you, our social media platforms went crazy with that particular point. And you can also go ahead and take a look at what Dr. Kibe had to say if you are trying to be gender specific as far as the child that you are trying to conceive is concerned. So let's take a look at our very first question that has come through our WhatsApp line. And let's see if Dr. Kibe will be able to answer some of these questions. We've got one here that says, "Hi, Dr. Kibe. Last year I turned 40 and since then I haven't had my periods. Could this be an early menopause or a problem in my reproductive system? Thank you."
I wish to respond to that.
Yeah.
That the average age for menopause is not 40.
Okay.
It is 51. So a lady getting menopause at 40, it would be rather early, although it can happen because the human body and whole of science has all the births and leaves, and there are very many misconceptions. And sometimes it depends also on the environment of the person. But I'm insisting that the median age for menopause is 51 years.
Okay.
So let this lady who has amenorrhea, which means missing periods whethout any main reason, go for some diagnostic procedure to find out whether she has hormonal imbalance, or probably she has used or misused family planning pills.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good point there. So definitely needs to do at least a background check on that. Okay. Continuing with more of the questions that streamed in from last week's episode or show. Morning, Shiko and Dr. Kibe. In surrogacy, do the genes of the surrogate mother go into the baby? I feel like she contributes to the formation of the baby to some degree, and the baby would end up with some genetic makeup, which is so different from the parents who sought the surrogacy. That comes in from Florence from Embakasi.
Absolutely so. She's right.
Yeah.
You know, when you get surrogacy, here you are looking for eggs, or even sperms for that matter, from somebody else. So the 23 chromosomes are not from the mother or the surrogate mother. They are from a different mother. I saw a story about a couple of weeks ago in the newspapers, in the media, where girls are selling, quote unquote, their eggs. And I wish to mention, for surrogacy, that means, I wish to mention that in the whole world, the United Nations does not allow, it is illegal for a doctor to buy any part, shall I call it a spare part?
Wow, okay.
Any part of a living human being, unless, don't call it selling, call it probably donation. If it's a donation, well and good.
Different.
Like we donate blood. Blood is a tissue. But if a girl is literally selling and getting a receipt or some remuneration, it is illegal internationally.
So there are no fertility clinics that will offer this service of harvesting someone's eggs and paying the individual?
Not pay. It should be a donation, like we donate blood. We also donate sperm. We have
but for the sperm banks, are they donated or people actually get paid for that?
No, you shouldn't. I'm insisting you shouldn't pay for any body part of a living person. Otherwise, you'll find the guys, especially those who are hooked to some drugs, they will sell blood this month, blood next month, have a kidney the fourth month. So it is not allowed. And the egg is a body part. I'm saying it is illegal. Those of you who are doing it, probably use the word donation. Now, to answer the lady, I'm insisting and I'm telling them that we are talking about 23 chromosomes from a father, from the sperm cell, and 23 chromosomes from the lady. Therefore, the surrogate mother's eggs are actually developed in the mother, and except for nourishment of the fetus, the baby, the surrogate baby belongs to the donor. So, in fact, not in Kenya alone, but the whole world, there are very many cases. Oh, like in the U.S., there are very many cases where somebody who donated eggs or an egg and now saw the baby and wants the baby back. And it is, if you did a DNA of a baby, a surrogate baby, the genes will follow the person who donated, not the person who carried the pregnancy.
The full term. Quite a high-risk venture there, and I think that will be a discussion for another day.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, but going back to text messages that came in from last week, we've got another one here that came in from Beatrice from Mundani, who says, I have had an implant for 1.5 years now, but I rarely see my periods. What could be the problem, and could this be cause for alarm, Dr. Kibe? One of the common issues that ladies face also, you know, with all the contraceptions and contraceptives rather that they're on.
You can't have your cake, eat it, and then expect a cake. You can't have your cake and eat it. See, the minute you go into, and we stressed this one, the minute you go to certain hormonal contraception or family planning, that is the minute you give in that you want to reverse your femininity. You want to reverse your femininity. And femininity includes monthly periods.
Yeah.
So when somebody is on hormonal, I'm stressing hormonal contraception, they will expect a reversal of their femininity, including the monthly period, and also some, especially those who are very young, will also have their voices break.
Okay.
They talk like a man, and quite often they also get a strand of two of beard. And quite often, some of them will absolutely develop a moustache.
Yeah.
And we will say hirsutism due to hormonal contraception. So if she used high dose contraceptives, oh yes, she can get amenorrhea. That means she can miss periods. In fact, I want to stress on something here which is not spoken. The truth is not always spoken. That when you are using a hormonal contraception and you want now to get a baby, no doctor can tell you for sure that you will conceive after 3 months or 10 months of leaving the contraceptive. Nobody will tell you that ukitoa, when you remove,
immediate.
Within a month or two or immediately. Some people become partially or sub-fertile.
And that's, so you stressed on sub-fertile.
Sub-fertile, you see? Eventually, the effects of the contraceptive will wear off from the blood, but nobody will tell you, ati ukitoa hii kitu, you remove it today, and within 4 months, you get pregnant. Absolutely, nobody will tell you.
Okay. We are still looking at questions that came in from last week's show on health and wellness as we talked about infertility and its effects. And we're asking you to keep them coming. And of course, if you'd like to call us and if you'd like to talk to Dr. Kibe directly, go ahead. We've got another one here. Good morning. I am asking if someone who gave birth normally, even after going through CS, there could be an issue. Or rather, if I'm asking, can someone give birth normally after having a CS?
It all depends on why she went through the CS in the first place. You know, there are certain hormones that are responsible for labor. And if they are less for whatever reason, during the first pregnancy, and she then later develops them, why not? Somebody can start with a CS and revert back to normal birth. And somebody
can hear that once you have a CS, that's that.
Like no.
Every other child that you will get after that will require a CS.
I want people to understand this one and understand this very clearly, that these messengers in the body called hormones fluctuate. You know, they go up and they go down due to very many reasons, like contraception, like even the mood, like we mentioned last time, traveling itself, you know, a trauma. If somebody, for example, gets involved in an accident, even if it's a freak accident, hormones go crazy immediately. And I said, even ordinary life, if somebody is told your mother has been involved in an accident, immediately hormones in the body go crazy. You know, they fluctuate. I want to mention also about hormones in a man. A man has all the hormones that a woman has. And sometimes you find a man who makes a lady pregnant, and this becomes a certificate of fertility. No. You see, they also fluctuate. A man could be very fertile today. He drinks a couple of beers, and then he gets a traumatic or a depression or a traumatic incident, and his hormones go crazy. They are no longer stagnant. He's not tied with a metal chain. So it is true that they do fluctuate. And I want to mention that today the lady could be having very balanced hormones within a short while, sometimes even diet alone. Diet.
But, you know, what's speaking out to me as we are on this particular point, Dr. is about us being able to do our due diligence as far as what is the correct procedure for you. Because a lot of women will be told, in hospitals or by their consultants that no, you have to go in for a CS. And so you kind of feel that women who are expecting babies are kind of put in a corner, like you have no choice.
You see, that one, I've had it several times that some surgeons, especially obstetric surgeons, those who I've heard that sometimes they do it intentionally for commercial gain, and that is criminal, you see.
Okay.
And that's why I insist that do not treat and do not do surgical procedures before you check. And it's possible to check oxytocin in the blood.
Okay.
It's possible to check whether the girl or the woman who is in the maternity demands a surgical operation, a CS. And, you know, just measure what we measure always, and measure the blood circulating oxytocin, and measure her mood and settle her down. And let's wait for some time also, give fluids, you know, and expect a normal birth.
Okay.
It's only in those cases that are extreme that we go for cesarean section.
All right. I understand Fatima is on the line. Good morning, Fatima.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, Fatima. Karibu.
Asante. Habari yako asubuhi shikona daktari.
Okay, tumesalimika. Karibu.
Okay, asante. My question is, nilikuwa na tube, nilikatwa one tube. Sasa I'm 44 years na sijapata mtoto. So my question is, mimi niambiwa I'm okay. My husband aliambiwa aende hospitali, but nilioana na yeye already has a kid. Sasa my question is, daktari aweza kunisaidia kuniambia safe day to play nipate mtoto, if it's a girl or a boy, any.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Daktari, you did mention something about this last week, but for the sake of Fatima, let's emphasize on the issue of someone actually surviving or at least living with one tube. So she's saying she managed to go in for surgery. Now she has one tube. And still she hasn't managed to get a child. You touched briefly on this last week, but why don't you take us through this?
Absolutely. So a mono-eyed lady can see. A mono-eyed man can even ride a bicycle. A lady with one tube can deliver. It's only that she's half fertile. She is sub-fertile. But now, I want to mention something. It's just not the tube. There are many other factors. The tube could be there, but have no cilia inside.
Right.
You know, there are other factors. You know, when they are doing any other surgery, including any peritoneal or abdominal surgery, they sometimes interfere with the movement of cilia, which pulls the egg, or for that matter, the zygote, towards the uterus. So what we are saying is that it's not just having a tube. It's not even in ordinary life. It's not just having a pipe that you'll get water. Probably the pipe is leaking somewhere. Probably the knob is not working. So it's very important for us to do further surveys, and some of them are micro. That means they are very tiny problems that can make a person miss a tube. I want to mention something for the sake of those ladies who end up with IVF. Even when we do IVF, it's very important that the whole lining of the internal reproductive organs are optimally active. We must check the lining of the endometrium. We must be sure that there is an endometrium and it's proper. We must also check hormonal outflow. We must be sure that her hormones, even if she's trying with one tube or is an IVF, we must make sure that her hormones will come at the right time, an FSH, the estrogens, luteinizing hormone, and this is important, the progesterone must be at optimum level. Even if whatever you do, you must have sufficient progesterone, which will sustain the gestation. So we are insisting that there are very many small things that we will check be sure that she's getting... And she revisited my earlier issue.
Yes.
She's telling us that her husband is...
Yes, he already has children. So
he has children with other girls, so he's
fertile.
He's fertile. No, I'm saying a man can be fertile in January, and by April, he's sub-fertile.
Okay.
And by June, he's again fertile. It's fluctuation.
Okay.
So don't argue that because I made Wanjiru pregnant, I can also make Fatma pregnant. Okay. No, it doesn't work.
All right. Good morning, Anne. She's tuned in from Kitengela. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Hi. Karibu sana to the show. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, I'm Marion.
Yes.
Okay. I'm 23 years old, actually.
Yeah.
So I started my periods in Form 2, but I never saw them again till Form 4. And since then, I've been having an imbalanced hormone. I rarely see my periods, actually, sometimes to an extent of 6 months.
Wow, yeah.
And I've never been on any contraceptive or any pill. So, okay, I've been to hospital several times.
Yeah.
And I'm told to use these pills to maybe synchronize the cycle. But after I take the pills, I have my menses, but such a heavy flow.
Yeah.
But in case I don't take the meds, I can't have my periods again.
Okay.
And I've also tried some herbal medicines, but it's been 3 months now. I still don't have my periods on. So is it an alarm? I'm kind of worried.
Okay, thank you so much. And that's Marion, not Anne, actually, from Kitengela. We'll answer that shortly. Thank you so much. All right, Daktari, just an overview of what Marion said. You can listen to this. Form 1, she was getting her period very inconsistent until Form 4. That's about 18 years old. A lot of imbalances, and then, it would be a period of even 6 months.
Absolutely.
And is this an issue?
Yeah, it is an issue. It is possible that a person is born with genetic problems or even an abnormality. But just like you find small boys and girls wearing specs very early because their eyesight has a problem.
Right.
Same down in there where the eggs and the hormones are flowing. It is possible to have even primary subfertility. Right. Somebody is born with hormonal problems, even without family planning or what we call hormonal pills or injections. It is possible that somebody is born with problems. And it would do good if she went for a whole profile, her hormonal profile, because this is an interrupted off and on menses, and it doesn't portray a good picture of somebody who wants to raise a family. Yeah. So we should keep a watch. In fact, even repeatedly do the hormones that are responsible for menstruation. Yeah. It's also important to mention at this stage that the whole thing, and I said it last time, starts from the brain. Yeah. You see, there is a part in the brain called the hypothalamus, and it's the hypothalamus that is responsible for all those functions in the body that are not from our wish. Yeah. You know, like breathing, like heartbeat, and now, like in reproduction, the hypothalamus takes control, and it sends its messages to another portion called the pituitary. Okay. The pituitary gland is a neighbor of the hypothalamus. And if there is the smallest of a tumor, even if it is benign and not cancerous, if there is a disturbance in the hypothalamus or the pituitary, it will reflect in the periodicity of a woman's reproductive cycles. Okay. So she should also go for a brain scan or any type of a good scan that will check whether there is something wrong in the
well,
brain?
you know, when we talk about pills being, of course, a fix, it seems like they are only temporary.
Yeah, they are,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about Marion's case and even Fatima, because, you know, both of them had two questions in one, if you ask me.
Yes.
But let's take a short commercial break, Dr. Kibe, and then we'll get back. Remember, we are still talking about infertility and its effects, and we're asking you to ask the questions this time around. I'm taking a back seat. My job literally this morning is just to moderate and to actually, you know, read through some of the questions that are coming through. So there again, you have those numbers at the bottom of your screen if you actually want to call in. If you want to text us, remember we are at K24TV on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, if you will. Our WhatsApp line is also active, so go ahead, talk to us. There's more to come.